Hello everyone and welcome to watch my next review, and today I'm going to review the next Jiayu phone. It's the Jiayu G2S. First of all, this phone is based on the Mediatek MTK6577T, which means turbo, so this chip is somewhat faster than the chip of the previously tested Jiayu G3. It's 1.2 GHz Cortex A9 dual-core chip with the same PowerVR SGX531 Ultra GPU, but the frequencies of the GPU are also a bit increased. Also, this phone is smaller. As you can see, it has a 4 inches screen, and the resolution of the screen is also a bit lower. It's 960 by 540 pixels, so the performance of this phone should be somewhat higher. The amount of random access memory is the same, it's 1 GB. The amount of flash memory is also the same, it's 4 GB. And the other technical specs we will consider a bit later. So now let's take a look at the box and at the set of this phone. First of all, it's not standard, but you may also order it with the phone. We have the additional battery here. It's a special case. In this case it's yellow, and there is additional screen protector in this box. You may also order the headphones with microphone, because they are not included into the standard set of this phone. Another screen protector is already installed at the phone. Now let's take a look at the box. As you can see, it's absolutely identical to the box of the previously tested Jiayu G3. So let's take a look what's inside of the box. Again, it's documentation, it's all in Chinese. The cradle for the phone, which protects this very well, and the box itself is made of plastic and it's very hard, so it protects the phone perfectly. Then there is a standard charger. It's identical to the charger of the G3, and it's 5 volts and 500 milliamperes. There is a data cable. There is a adapter for the European plug, and if you live in other countries you will receive it either without any plug or with plug for your or with the adapter for your plugs. And there is a quality check cards. So no headphones in this case, but still the set is quite normal. So now let's take a look at the phone itself. What we can see here is the screen. You even can't see it, it's rather dark. And what is interesting about the screen, it's made using the OGS. It's one glass screen technology, which means the screen and the touch panel are using only one protector, only one covering glass. So this kind of screens is substantially thinner than the ordinary screens of the tablets and phones. Also, we can see the speaker here, the frontal camera, and there is a couple of sensors here. It's a proximity and light sensors, and 3 touch buttons. It's a menu, home and back touch buttons. Also, on the right panel there is nothing here. On the bottom here is a microphone, and here is a micro USB port. On the top we can see the power button and the standard 3.5mm plug for the headphones, and it supports the microphone, of course. On the left side there is a volume rocker down and up, and on the back panel we can see another speaker. It's a loudspeaker, and the main 8 megapixels camera with autofocus and flash, of course. The back panel is made of touch soft plastic, so it's rather nice, and the frame of this phone, this frame is made of metal. It is really made of metal. I checked it, so the phone is very solid, it's absolutely hard, and the building quality is also very good. And now let's take a look what's under the cover. So what we see here is a rather big 2200 mAh battery. It's designed specially for Jiayu G2S. The TF card, the micro SD card slot, and a couple of slots for mini SIM cards. They are situated one under another, as you can see. So everything is quite standard here, and I should repeat, the building quality is very good, so the phone is rather solid and nice in this respect. Now it's time to turn the phone on. So what we see here first is the screen, and I should say the screen is very nice. It's an IPS screen made by OGS technology, and what is especially nice about this screen, it's the very nice colors. They are similar to the colors of Jiayu G3, and the very wide brightness range. The minimum brightness is good for the absolute darkness. The average brightness is quite good to use the phone inside the buildings, and the maximum brightness is good to use it under the direct sun. There is also automatic brightness, as you can see, and it works quite well also. The viewing angles are of course perfect, because it's the advanced IPS OGS screen, so absolutely no problems with this. And now let's check the touch screen of this phone. The touch panel recognizes 5 simultaneous touches in this phone, and all 5 touches are recognized quite well. Also, the touch panel is very sensitive, and as you can see, it recognized up to 5 touches without any problems. So it works quite well. Now let's check the sensors. Like previously tested Jiayu G3, this phone also have a lot of sensors, and it's the accelerometer sensors, the orientation sensors, the light sensors and proximity sensors. Also it has a gyroscope and a magnetic field sensor, or the magnetic compass, digital compass. So as you can see, accelerometer and it works, the gyroscope and it also works, the light sensor and it works, the magnetic field sensor and it works, the orientation sensor and the proximity sensor. All of them are working. Also you can see the temperature and voltage of the battery and the sound level based on the built-in microphone of this phone. Of course, this phone has a vibromotor as all the other phones. Now let's check the settings. Everything is quite standard for the Android of the 4th generation. So this phone has a Wi-Fi and Bluetooth integrated modules. Of course, they are working quite well. The sensitivity of Wi-Fi is about the same as in the previously tested Jiayu G3, which is very good. The Bluetooth also work without any problems. The whole integrated memory is devoted to the internal storage, so there is no internal SD card, and I installed also the external 8 GB SD card into this phone. The battery is 2200 milliamperes, as I already said, and the battery life is very good, of course. It's about the same as for the Jiayu G3. Jiayu G3 has even higher capacity of the battery, but this phone has smaller screen, so it consumes a bit less. So the battery life is almost the same. On the other hand, the CPU of this phone has a bit higher performance and a bit higher frequency, so you may expect about 15 hours in the reading mode with rather low brightness of the screen, about 10 hours of normal work, and about 5 to 6 hours in gaming mode with high brightness of the screen. Also, this phone supports GPS, of course, and it supports the AGPS and EPO assistance of the Mediatek chips. And the GPS works quite well. I can't test it right now because I'm inside the building, but it works without any problems. Now let's check the languages. So the range of languages is not full, as you can see. About 20 languages are supported, but most of the main languages are supported in this phone. And the Android version in this phone is 4.1.2, so it's not the latest Android, but it's rather fresh version of the Android. And as you can see, the performance of the interface is quite good. Now let's check the amount of free random access memory. Now it's 507 MB with 20 running applications, as you can see, and if we kill all the applications, the amount of free random access memory is about 650 MB, which is quite good. The quality of connection in this phone is also very good, so I experienced no problems. The microphone and both of the speakers work quite well, so absolutely no problems with this. Now a couple of words about the cameras of this phone. The frontal camera is 2 megapixels and the back camera is 8 megapixels with the flash and autofocus. And the main camera module is, I think, a bit more advanced than the camera module of the previously tested Jiayu G3, because this phone is a bit newer, about 2 or 3 months newer than the Jiayu G3, so the camera module is a bit more advanced. The quality of the pictures is rather good. Maybe it's not the best 8 megapixels camera, but I should say the quality is quite good. So you can see the quality, for instance, it's made in Camera Pro application. So this is the quality of the picture. It's quite good, and I like the colors of this picture. The dynamic range is also rather good. So you should not be disappointed by this camera. Now it's time to test the Wi-Fi signal. So as you can see, this phone recognizes many wireless networks, and the signal of my wireless network is about -43 dBm right now, and the maximum level of signal is about -25 dBm, and it's about the same result as for the Jiayu G3, so the situation with Wi-Fi is quite good in this phone. I experienced no problems actually. Now let's check the root. The phone is not rooted, of course, out of the box, but I first installed the latest official firmware, and then I installed one of the latest custom firmwares. So now the phone is rooted, of course. As you can see, it's rooted. Now let's check the internet. As you can see, it works quite fluently. Again, I should say this phone is a bit faster than the previously tested Jiayu G3 because of the faster processor and because of the somewhat lower screen resolution. But again, it's a 4-inch screen, so the pixels density is still quite good. It's about 275 pixels per inch. So I should say you won't be able to see the pixels on this screen without the magnification. And the performance, as you can see, is quite good. It was rather good in the Jiayu G3, but in this phone it's somewhat better. As you can see in the latest Opera beta, the online video and the YouTube also works.
But people are saying that a car went off as it was moving.
So everything is fine here. Now let's check the YouTube
system to it. So we have fish move out of the way when you get close to them.
As you can see, this phone supports high quality video on YouTube. The screen resolution is lower than the HD. It's not so much lower, but it's a bit lower, so the HD video is not supported in this application. But we've seen that the Jiayu G2 is capable to run the HD video, so of course this phone is even a bit more powerful, and it's of course also able to run the HD video. As you can see, the YouTube works quite well without any problems. Now let's check the Google Maps. This phone supports the GPS, and also it supports the Wi-Fi positioning, so you won't have any problems with positioning using this phone. The performance is also quite good, as you can see. So everything works fine. Now let's check the Play Market. And of course, no problems here. All the programs I usually use are compatible with this phone, so I experienced absolutely no problems with this. I was able to install any of my everyday programs which are compatible with the Play Store at all. So you can easily install any of the programs here. By the way, I just remembered about the LED indicator, which is situated somewhere here, and it may indicate the green and red color when the phone is discharged, when it's charged, and when there are some new messages, like emails, SMS messages, or the missed calls and something like that. Okay, so now let's check the performance. Let's start with the Antutu benchmark as always, and here is the result. It's about 6.5 thousandths of points, and it's a bit higher than the result of Jiayu G3, of course, both because of the lower screen resolution. As you can see, the three-dimensional graphics score is higher, and because of the higher CPU frequency. You can see it here, and the CPU frequency is 1209 MHz, and it's a dual-core processor, as you can see, and the CPU frequency in the Jiayu G3 with the simple MTK6577 not turbo processor was 1001 MHz. So the difference is about 20%, and of course this processor, this phone is faster. Now let's continue with the quadrant, and the result is, as you can see, it's 2640 points. It's not so much, but the result is rather good for such a processor. Again, it's a bit higher than the result of the Jiayu G3, and it's about equal to the results of the Samsung Galaxy Tab, Samsung Galaxy Nexus, and Motorola Atrix 4G. But at the same time, as you can see, the processor in this phone is faster than the processors of the Samsung Galaxy Tab and Motorola, and a bit slower than the processor of the Galaxy Nexus. And of course, it's much slower than the quad-core devices. So this is the result, and now let's continue with the Llama. And the results are about the same as for the previously tested Jiayu G3. Also, what I should say, the results are not very stable in the current firmware, so there is a big difference between different runs of the benchmarks. So I show you about the average results. Also, you can see the scores here. So it's about the result of Samsung Galaxy S2, which have 1.2 GHz dual-core processor actually, the same as this processor, and it's about the equal to the results Sony Tablet S and Asus Transformer Prime. And the metal score is comparatively low, and still it's about the score of Sony Tablet S. Something like that. In real web browsers, as you could see, the performance is quite good, so absolutely no problems with this. Now let's run the three-dimensional tests. First is the nanomark, and you can see the result here. It's 24.2 frames per second, and it's substantially faster than the results of the Jiayu G3. As you can see, this scene runs quite fluently. The Jiayu had about 17 frames per second, so this one is much faster, almost 1.5 times. This is, I think, both because of the lower screen resolution and because of the somewhat faster processor. So the result, of course, it's not so perfect compared to the high-end devices, but this phone is also much less expensive, so the results are quite good. Now let's run the base Martagian. And you can see, like in case with Jiayu G3, this test is rather slow. It doesn't like the PowerVR GPUs, and this GPU is not as powerful as, for instance, SGX531, so the results are not perfect. And it's 7.7 frames per second. Still, it is much faster than for the Jiayu G3. It's more than 1.5 times faster, but still quite slow. Now let's run the GFX benchmark, or which is the same, it's a GL benchmark 2.7, and let's see the results. So 64 frames and 1.1 frames per second for the direction screen. It is about 2 times faster than for the Jiayu G3, both because of the lower screen resolution and faster processor, but still it's very slow, of course. But I should remind you that this test is extremely hard, it's extremely difficult for the current system on chips, for the current GPUs, so even the fastest GPUs like the Snapdragon 600 and the latest Samsung Exynos Octa are not able to run this test fluently. And the Egypt HD, it's 3.6 frames per second, again it's rather fast, it's faster than for the Jiayu G3, and the fill rate is 216 megapixels in the on-screen mode and 273 megapixels in off-screen mode. And it's about 10% faster than for the Jiayu G3. This test in off-screen shouldn't depend on the screen resolution, so we can see here that the GPU frequency in this processor, in the turbo version of the MTK6577, is somewhat higher than in the ordinary MTK6577. Also, like in case with Jiayu G3, I am not able to run the 3D Mark here. I'm not sure why, maybe it's a problem of the GPU drivers or the problems of the test itself. So now let's run some games. First, to check the touchscreen and the three-dimensional game. It's a simple three-dimensional game, Fruit Ninja. So as you can see, no problems here. No problems here also. This two-dimensional game also runs very nice and fluent. Absolutely fluently here also. Now let's continue with the more advanced games, three-dimensional games. You can see all the two-dimensional games runs absolutely fluently. You can hear there are some problems with the sound in this game, but it's the problems of the game itself, or maybe the problems of the Android, because they are quite frequent in different tablets and phones. And the performance, as you can see, it's not perfectly fluent, but it's quite playable. game is quite playable, you can see it. The alternative warrior was playable but a bit slow on the Jiayu G3, and on the Jiayu G2S, as you can see, it's rather fluent. Maybe not perfectly fluent, but absolutely fluent enough to play it without any problems. Now let's run the gyroscope. As you can see, this game runs perfectly, absolutely no problems. Now the bubble rising. You can see the game is fast enough with the average quality of the picture, and you can choose a lower quality. Of course, you won't have any problems with this. So the performance is quite good here. And as you can see, the Manugano is absolutely playable, perfectly fluent, and looks nice on this phone. So absolutely nice here. So this is the beach runner, and it is rather fast, as you can see. Here we can also change the graphics settings. Now, as you can see, it's a high resolution, which is the slowest variant, and we can choose the average settings. The difference is not too high here. And the picture looks nice, as you can see. This game is very beautiful, and it is also quite playable on the Jiayu G2S. So it's absolutely fluent and absolutely no problems, quite playable. So we can choose even the better graphics settings in this game, and it still will be playable. And the last game for today is the Temple Run 2. Let's run it and see what we have here. So this game also allows to choose 3 different levels of graphics. Now it's better, which is the average level of graphic. Let's see what we have here. And you can see the game is quite playable. And accelerometer also work well. Hey! Nice. So this game is absolutely playable, maybe even we can choose a better level of graphics. So absolutely no problems, you can play it. So now it is time to make some conclusions about this phone. So what I like about it and what I don't like about it. Actually, I found no problems with this phone, except maybe the average performance in some latest games with the top quality of graphics, but even with the games it works rather well. And in all the other applications this phone is quite nice. So what I like about it, first of all, it's a very nice screen with a very nice colors, with a rather high resolution. It's 960 by 540 pixels, and it's the OGS screen, which is one glass solution, which means the screen and the touch screen are built together. And this is a new technology used in the latest iPhone, for instance. So also the CPU in this phone is rather powerful. It's Cortex A9 dual-core 1.2 GHz, which is even a bit faster than the previously tested Jiayu G2. The phone looks nice. As you can see, it has a 4-inch screen, so it's rather compact and lightweight. And it has a metal frame, so it's very solid. There is no squeezes, there is no problems with the build quality. It has soft touch back panel, so it also rather good here. It has a couple of good cameras. The back camera is 8 megapixels with autofocus and flash. The battery is good, it's 2200 milliamperes, and it's a real capacity, so the battery life is very good. It's about 5 hours in heavy games and much more in other cases. So if you want to read books on this phone, the battery life will be at least 12 to 15 hours, something like that. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, FM radio work well on this phone. The quality of connection is quite good. I experienced no problems with this. And even the price is rather good. It's about $170 for today. So I think this phone quite good for this money, and it's a good choice. So if you don't like the big and heavy phones like Jiayu G3, and in the future I'll test even bigger phones with larger screens, so this phone will be quite a good solution for today. And among the drawbacks, actually I don't even know what to say. A lot of firmwares for this phone. So today we use the Android 4.1.2, but I think the Android 4.2.1 will be also available soon. So maybe the only drawback is not the high-end performance of this phone, but also it's quite good, as you could see in my review. So now let me introduce my next reviews. I'm going to review several very nice tablets. It will be the Hyundai T7S, it will be the Cube U30 GT2, and it will be the Chuvi V88 2GB RAM version. So all the tablets are very interesting and good. All of them are based on the quad-core Cortex A9 processors. Hyundai is based on the Samsung Exynos Quad, and Cube and Chewy are based on the newest Rockchip 3188. I have all of these tablets on hand already, and I can show it to you, for instance. So here is the Chewy. As you can see, it's very similar to the iPad mini. It has the same screen and the appearance is very similar also. The screen is 7.85 inches screen, 1024 by 768 pixels. It's also very thin, and I've tested it already. It has a very good performance and very good battery life, I should say. I'll make the review about this tablet very soon. And here is the Cube. This one is 10.1 inches Full HD Plus tablet based on the Rockchip 3188. It also has a very good performance, and I like it very much. I'll show it to you a bit later in my next review. And here is a Hyundai T7S, also very nice tablet based on the Samsung Exynos, which is the same CPU which used in the Samsung Galaxy S3. So the performance is very good, and this tablet also has the integrated GPS module, so it's very interesting too. And a couple of phones. First, it will be the Hero H7500 Plus, which is based on the latest MTK6579. It's a Cortex A9 quad-core CPU with a more powerful GPU also. It's 5 inches and HD screen, very nice phone, I should say. And here is the iNew i2000. This phone has 5.7 inches IPS HD screen, and it's also based on the latest MTK chip. And very soon I'm going to receive the Jiayu G4, which is very popular phone. It's the next generation of Jiayu phones, also based on the latest MTK chip. And then I'll also test the Awesome M33 tablet, which is the Retina screen Rockchip 3188 tablets. Many reviews are coming, and they all will be devoted to very interesting devices, so stay tuned and subscribe to my channel if you like it. So that's it for today, and thank you for attention. Goodbye.